Hey guys, welcome to the next episode of Growth Minded Contractor. Man, each episode we're bringing on some just studs on these episodes, and I got another one for you today. It's going to be good. I have Martin Pettigrew, the CEO, owner, founder. He doesn't like titles of Monarch Roofing out of little Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, just crushing it over there and has become a friend and somebody who's serving the industry as well outside of just telling a story, but helping people. He's formed Riva Impact and got another thing going on. I've loved just seeing Martin and interacting with him. So this is going to be an episode all about Monarch Roofing and the mindset of Martin Pettigrew and what's going on in that relentless brain of his, in a way that also is light giving. That's what I love too about interacting with you, Martin, is that you're relentless, but you shed light while you do it. It's not this dark relentlessness. It's a light giving relentlessness, which I think is very refreshing. And I think resonating with a lot of people. So I just want to thank you for that and honor that. But before we get in, I want to talk about a few partners we have at STG that part of what we do is we promise them that we're going to tell people about who they are. So one of those is Sumo Quote. So Sumo Quote is a proposal beautification software that is proven to increase closing ratios, make it easier to upsell and sell add-ons and upgrades as a contractor. So check out Sumo Quote. Those guys are awesome. We just recently brought on as a partner a gentleman by the name of Adam Sand, roofing business partner, does Sumo Quote build outs for you. And he also does HubSpot integration and CRM optimization. The guy's a monster. He just drives around the country with his wife and his dog, goes to a company for a week, and then goes to the next company for a week. Pretty cool dude. So he's like a genius tech geek that loves roofing. So really fun to watch him. And we also have Webrunner Media, Mark Levesque out of Canada. These guys are doing a great job. Just paid ads. They are paid ad geeks. They have paid ads down and dialed for the home service contractor to help them generate leads so that they can convert more business and grow and scale. Many of our best clients at STG who are using Webrunner consider us as primary partners to help them scale their organization as we help them with their sales, and then Webrunner's helping generate leads. So super excited. Thanks for you guys, partners, for being a part of what we're doing at STG. And now back to Martin Pettigrew. Martin Pettigrew, welcome to my show. It's an honor to have you with me.
Ryan, thank you so much for the kind word, man. You had my heartbeat going a little faster and goosebump a little on my arms, man. I don't know if you can tell, but that's awesome, man. I'm excited to be here because I value you. I think you're doing phenomenal things for your industry, and we had for a little bit. I don't know if you want to call it mentor or not, but somebody that impacted me in my career in Greg Wallach at Best Roofing. Also something that was mentoring to you. So somebody that we could connect to, and I think that's how it started all out. But I love you mentioned some things about like light serving. Not so much a dark side, but I love serving, and I think greatness is the amount of people you can get to serve. So if I can serve, I feel like what we're doing with one location in Myrtle Beach it's been great. Implementing the roofing machine and all the process that we've been able to do has been great. Duplicating in Wilmington and Hilton Head is phenomenal. Now we're trying to spread it as much as other companies, just like you're doing a lot of things. But one of the things you mentioned with Adam Sands, he's a monster. You're right, man. This guy, he's from Canada too, right? And Sumo Quote's from Canada too, but he's
I
a
got all my
monster.
partners are Canadian. What's going on?
Yeah, I know. I see that. I hear this. It's awesome, man. But I love to work with him. I'm actually going to be working with him at a company Oberg next week. So we're really excited to see him again. But he's relentless, man. He's one of the most charismatic, marketing-minded, but also brilliant into software, where I think all roofing contractors really need this with all the changes going on in the industry.
Yeah, another plug for you, Adam. So share and like. Cool. So let's talk about you, Martin, and Monarch. So I want two parts of your story. I want to go into Monarch, the growth, how long you've been in business. Just give us, a section of time on what you've done to grow Monarch. But then I want to also just get into the mindset around your growth and your decision making and your culture, because this is a growth minded contractor. This show is for the contractor who wants to grow. They want to grow not only with their business, to grow personally, and they want to transform their life and the lives of people they serve. This is not the how to stay where you're at contractor show, right? This is the growth minded contractor show. So talk a little bit about this, Martin. You're doing things have an overflow of what you've done at Monarch. So talk about the Monarch story.
Yeah, we started 15 years ago, Ryan, and then we grew year after year after years, and we always had an increase in sales as gross revenues. And we started 2007 where it was nothing, right? It's a little bit kind of feeling like we were going through again the recession. So there was recession time was starting. So it was a great gift because you said relentless. How do you become relentless? I don't know if somebody's born relentless, but things happen to your life that make you like this. So whenever we started, it was really hard. It's still hard. We made a ton of mistakes. Like people, it's a little bit like reading a book. You never want to read a book that was a great beginning, great during the book, and at the end is a great. Nobody cares, but it's been roller coasters, and I love to share some ideas and things I've done wrong, so other people don't have to go through this thing. But it's been like a hockey stick field because it's been growth to about like 4 years ago, and then we hit the curve that went up like a hockey stick shape. Because and everybody talks about that. I'm sure you have a lot of clients that tell you this is, hey, I want to start working on my business instead of working in my business. Mm-hmm. When I was able to transition from working on the business to in the to on the business, it changed everything. Mm. And to me, the biggest path was to get to over 12 million, 13 million, where I was able to have a general manager to manage the business. And I was able to work as really owner at that point, because before that you wear all the hats. Mm-hmm. So I was able to work on process procedure to really make the company look different. Mm. That causes the push.
So yeah, talk about that for a little bit. Like what kind of processes, procedures, how did you want to and you just said make the company look different. So what was so let's hit on that for a second. Like why was that important? And then what was going on in your mind when you started to do that type of on the business work versus like the GM now was able to take over? Describe that. Like, what was your thought process? What were you hoping to get out? Like, what were you trying to accomplish in that season of your life in your business?
Okay, so at that time we had 3 locations. So I was able to work remotely. I just worked from a house. Actually, it was awesome. So every day we had all the process, procedure, the structure, the mindset was all implemented. We had documents, but what happened, Ryan? Somebody had, let's say, the postcard process on the USB card at the office. The other person had it on Dropbox and Hilton Head. The other person, it was all over the place. It was hard to get all the documents in one place. Mm-hmm. So we started by creating an intranet. We used Jostle to get all the documents onto one place where all 3 locations can easily find like a new employee checklist. Okay. How hard is it? Like if you have on my computer but somebody needs it, I got to email it all the time. I hated it. I was like, I'm the only one that's got the Dropbox access to that file. So you start emailing, so it made it hard. So we created an online place where all the information was. Mm-hmm. A little bit, the mindset's really like if you go to a bank, right? You go to bank A or B, it's kind of the same thing. They have different process, maybe procedure, but it's organized, and it really makes you feel that's the same thing. Right. But in roofing contractor in general, and you see this, like it's a little bit maverick. Everybody's doing a little bit different things. We're trying to do it, but nobody's really put out a map to say, hey, this is where you're going to look like at 3, 6, 12 and grow your business. So we were able to identify and really put in paper everything needed to grow the business, and made it better because now I'm spending time on it. And I love, everybody should say like, I want to work on the business, but it's almost a fugazi, okay? So I'm working remotely, Ryan, for 6 months. Every day, I love it. I'm putting everything together. And then Hilton Head starts to fail. That's in 2018, 19. I'm like, crap, I got to go in Hilton Head myself because it was planting. I didn't realize so bad that I couldn't even close it. So it really sucked. There was no money. We were so far behind on bills. So I decided to go back myself. So every week I was there for weeks, sometimes a couple weeks at a time. And sometimes, Ryan, a business owner can relate to this. I would even forget, and I'm embarrassed to say that, but I would even forget about my family. It would be 8, 9 o'clock at night, like, oh crap, I even text my wife and talk to my kids today. This is crazy. I was so involved with the process to make Hilton Head good, because we had to fire everybody basically from the office, starting from scratch. It was so bad that it was at a plaza. I had to get my mail delivered to the neighbor. It was a hairdresser. So I was giving her $100 a week so she could get my mail because there was so much mail going there. Nobody was at the office. So she would get my mail every week. So, but we start implementing what we've been working on. And then that's the key. If you can work on the business, now it was easy. We hire somebody, then the checklist. First of all, what we identify, how we hire people. Like, all right, I'm going to look at the process for hiring. Okay, we use Indeed, we do 10 minutes interview, we use the disc. So it was like a playbook now we had. That was like a cheat code. So we can go through and start building the business. And it took a while, but we went from 3 to 8 to 14 millions in 3 years. And again, since December, I'm back to that spot again. In 2021, I was able to remove myself again for the second time to really start working on the business now. So I'm not in any of the locations anymore. I think the goal, people ask me all the time, says, Martin, where should I be at my business? Is it 6 million the sweet spot? Is it 3 million? I believe it's 12 or above if you get there, because inflation now it's a little trickier. I think it might be a little closer to 13, 14. But if you can get there, now you can have a general manager and then you can really work on your business. And when that happens, you can go to 20, 30, 40. There's no limit because you can duplicate the system.
So that's cool. I love that, and thanks for sharing your failures too, and how you actually had to hurry. And
It's bad.
yeah, I mean, I feel you. And so going into so Jostle, I mean, is that like better than a Google Drive file? I mean, like what would be like Jostle? What's different than like just having everything in the Google Drive?
Yeah, well, and I think Google Drive is likely like a Dropbox, right? So we get all the files in one place. Uh, it's great because you can really compartmentalize all the documents per location or really per you can have different people have different access. I don't use Google Drive, so I could be saying, oh, it's
Yeah,
the
it's
same
probably
thing.
like Dropbox, but yeah. So the Jostle.
But they have what I like is they have a chat, so text message. You know, sometimes you do a iPhone, you can do group chat, and then you cannot add anybody else. So this you can have a group chat for all the superintendent. They have a group chat. All the leads go to one group chat,
Mhm.
and then there's weekly or daily news. So you want to put a news about something new, an event that's coming up. Anything that's related to the business can be on there. Anything we can grow for sales guys, always it's great because every morning, like again, if you're a sales manager or your sales guys, what are you gonna do when you meet in the morning? It's a big pain. People ask me like, okay, if we meet every morning at 7 o'clock, I don't know what I should be talking about. Like the sales manager doesn't know what to tell the salesman. It's hard, so we would start putting video and the training process for that video and what you should be talking about that day on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday. So it would help all three sales manager for locations to, if they don't know, they didn't prepare the night before, because to do a class like a 30-minute training for your team. I mean, my brother, his wife is a teacher, and I remember seeing her when I was going to Toronto in Canada for Christmas. I was always there where she was still teaching. She would do work at night the night before from 6 to 9 o'clock preparing for the class the next day. So you had to put a lot of time. Who wants, roofers who want roofs? We don't have time to do that, right? So I created easy buttons for my team so they could use those templates if it applied for the business, or go back to last week or the week before so they had something to go over. So for the training, for superintendent, the same thing. The field manager had the same process, the salesman. So there's a lot of communication that was happening and documentation on that platform that makes it a little bit different than Dropbox or
Yeah,
Google
that's
Drive.
really cool. I like that. So yeah,
So recommend it. We still use it, by the way. So
love that.
again, we have no affiliation with them. Jostle, you can use it.
Shout out to Jostle.
Yeah.
Love that. So yeah, you essentially, you have multiple locations. One was failing. You were working on the business. You stopped, went back in, and had to get it back to light. But then you plugged them into the processes you had been building, and then that took it to another level. And then you had the ability to hire a general manager, and then you did it again and optimize the systems again to make it easier. And then that's been scaling. You guys are somewhere, like a $40 million company now overall, right? So something in that.
Yeah, exactly. And now, again, Wilmington is on fire. There's a great leader there, Lizzie. What happened then before is I didn't take the time when I had the general manager promoted to those positions. They were not trained, so it's totally my fault, 100%. I didn't train them. I thought that like in my mind, like in owners can think that like in my mind everything is easy. Like I got it all. I did from my first, I was. It's embarrassing. Again, you won't talk some bad story. Like everybody makes fun of Chuck the Truck, right? But when I started, I was looking up Chuck the Truck like right here because they called me Marty in a caddy. So I was driving a Cadillac to sell roofs. Like I had no chance, right? So I started from the ground, nothing, and it took a long time. It took like 5 years really to commit to roofing. I didn't know we were doing drywall, siding,
Mhm.
windows, and like it's kind of a joke, but we call it like you want to become a goat, like Tiger Woods or the best in the world. They're only focusing on one thing, and then I felt like I was becoming like a jote. So it's a jack of all trade. So I was doing about everything. You see that on business cards when you see contractors. Sometimes they have a lot of trades on there. Definitely don't recommend that, especially if you're have a market. Like Myrtle Beach is not big, but it's big enough just to focus on one thing. If you have a market, you're a rural place, there's not many homes, so you might have to do other trades. But I would really focus so you can become the best. If you do the same activity over and over and over, there's an opportunity for you to become the best at it. You play baseball at a really high level. I played golf, but not as high level as you did baseball. So you had to focus on baseball. If you get distracted,
Oh,
it doesn't matter. You see,
yeah, totally.
there's a lot of competition, right?
Totally. It's very Yeah. So, um,
And people would ask me, Ryan, they said, Martin, like even now, they said, Martin, if I build my business, my structure, my roofing machine, and then these guys are only doing a few things, let's say outside sales, we want our outside sales to meet homeowner, inspect roof, and do presentation with homeowner. If they only do this, that's boring. I said, no, 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 no. You ever play on a team that wins? You ever see the Ryder Cup on TV compared to a regular golf tournament? The Ryder Cup, like the guys, it's not even possible. Like golf is not that exciting, but the guys are jumping around, they're hugging each other. Everybody wants to win the Ryder Cup. But then you watch your team or somebody that does the same activity over and over. It's not boring because they're winning. If we can, people talk about winning culture, but you really got to start winning. If your team, it's easier for them to do the same activity. It becomes easier to start to win, sell more roofs. They're gonna want to sell more roof, and that's where the obsession, the addiction, or they said passion, but I'm talking beyond that. Relentless. That book from Dick Grover talks about that. But Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, to get to this level, they just can't stop. They got to be. They said they wired differently when they retired. Even I don't know if you saw Michael Jordan's speech, Hall of Fame speech,
hmm yeah.
but I felt like he was coming back. I'm like that guy is coming out of retirement when he's 50. He's like I like the way he's speaking, like he was in his 40s, like he's not coming back, but in his mind it can't. I don't think he can turn it off. There's always something. It's not even competition. Like it's obsession.
So I gotta ask you, bro, and I'm asking you like straight up as a friend. I love that, but how does your wife and your family feel about that? Because I think a business owner is like, bro, that's awesome. I want to be relentless. I'm like that too. But does your wife and your kids love that? Because I struggle with that. I'm like, on, dude. I love building my business. I could work all day long about it, and I want everything. I could create my world to revolve around this. But that is like, that's pretty selfish, man. Like, pretty messed up. That's not self. That's not
Yeah.
serving, right? Your family, because they have a nice home and they have a nice car. But if Martin's not around and he's not present, if Ryan's not around, he's on the road again. Bro, I struggle. We're doing the same stuff, right? And if you're a roofer, and then if you're a roofer's listening to this or a contractor in general, you could be doing the same thing in your community or networking or going to this or seeing that or dealing with salespeople or closing the deal. You could do the same thing. You can be relentless. What have you done to get your mind around um, uh, embracing who you are, but also embracing your role as a man who has a home and a family, and you have people following you too, have homes and families in your company, right? You have people who are salespeople who are like frothing at the mouth, laser focused, let's go, freaking push ups, and they're grinding too, and they got a wife at home too. Like, so I want to know because I struggle and I talk about this stuff. This is a weakness for me. I mean, right now I'm in Maui because of how much our business has grown and because of how many employees we have and stuff in the industry and people speaking and me getting invited and can't go to everything. I'm moving to Dallas, Texas for a year and my wife hates it. Okay. She's not a fan. And we're leaving paradise to go to the concrete jungle of Dallas. And because of why? Because I want to build my business. to take it to the next level. And I've applied this relentless mindset on it, and I have to manage that, right? I'd like to hear what you think about that. And you could talk to me as a friend, or you can just talk in general what you're, but this is a thing because I love growth. I got a growth
I
neon
know.
sign.
You're not playing. You're doing it.
This is like serious, but like, and people who are here are doing it. They're like leaving legacy. They want to make money. They want to grow. They blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, dude, your wife's still wondering if you're going to do the dishes and then you forgot, or the fact that you didn't take out the garbage. And, where have you been? You've been on the road. I miss you. Or where's blah, 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 blah. Talk about it.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely a great question, Ryan. A lot of people ask me this question, and it's not easy. I can definitely drop some tears there and emotion because it's always hard. It's the biggest thing is to be away from your family and your kids, and I feel like we have a duty, right? We sign up to be parents, so we got to be there for our kids. So that's very important to me. They're still young, 2 and 5, so I could definitely spend a little bit of time with them and they don't have to play soccer or they don't have practice or games. So I know that's going to change a little bit when that happens. I'm going to be there for sure. But we met, I was telling you this, we met, it's been 6 years. So I was already working so hard, so many hours already. So she knew what to expect. But I think there's a bigger picture than that. And that's where I'm pushing really hard for roofing contractors to get to that mark, to get to the 12 million, 13, 14, because that way they can really start working on the business and they can have free range to do other things. And you can never expect your employees to work as hard as you, right? Because they don't own the business. But once you get to this point, that's the beauty. And I think a lot of contractors will say like they burn out. You don't burn out if you love what you do, but if you add kids to the equation and family, that I didn't have that, so I was privileged to get um, to be there. But at the same time, I know it's hard, but my wife also knows that if I would be here every day, not doing this passion, I would not be as fulfilled as a person. And if I'm not fulfilled as a person and I'm not happy, I will make everybody miserable. And it's not in a negative way, but whenever we built Monarch Roofing in Myrtle Beach, I was in there for about 6 months before they kicked me out. And it really would kick me out, but we started growing other locations. So the building that we got, beautiful building, state of the art. Everything's finally there. All that we had a trailer on the job site, and we had another office. We finally put it all together. 6 months in, I'm out at the office. So the joke is they kick me out because they can stand me being in the office on day to day because we tend as owner to macro a little bit or just start to um, uh, um, troubleshoot everything. But to go back to your question, it's definitely difficult and to have opportunity to maybe make it the better impact. Like when we take I don't just if I do a weekend, we're gonna do something. I try to do power vacation, so we'll leave Friday maybe 3, 4 o'clock, and we'll come back Sunday night late. So we'll go to mountains or we go to Florida. We'll do a trip every quarter at least to get um, time together. I try to maximize on quality. Go to baseball game if I can, or PGA Tour event. My son likes golf to make
Mm-hmm.
that happen. And the weekends, there's nothing else. Well, not weekends. Really, Saturday I'm working, but on Sunday, it doesn't matter if I'm tired. Whatever happens, it's kids 100%. No matter what, I'm totally committed. Might be not enough, too much, not enough, but it's definitely with what we're doing with Revo and everything else, it makes it a little bit trickier because I am definitely traveling. When we finally in December, when I was able to be having a GM for all through location last year, that's when we started launching Riva. So I was out of town every week, and now we launched something else. So I don't know if I can like stop doing this. Creating. It's like if I don't create something new, I tend to, and I think many business owners would relate to this. I don't say I tend to sabotage it, but it's almost a little bit like this, where I would say disturbance, but I like to create new things all the time. So it's almost a good thing. But again, it might be a little extreme. Like this year, it's been a little crazy with GF, AVS. I've been traveling the country a lot. We've been doing implementation of some of the process we're doing for other roofing companies. So it's been a little crazy for sure. I don't know if I can. It's not sustainable like this. I think this year is going to be like this. Next year, we'll see.
Yeah, I hear that. The not sustainable thing, I'm totally tracking with you. You know, I'm with you. Uh, Man, there's a lot to cover, a lot to ask you. Are you doing overnighters? Are you staying like doing 1 day trips with GAF? Are you doing the overnight? And are you doing multiple nights? Are you trying to?
So overnight every time, and then yeah, usually there's a dinner the night before or cocktail hours that we get to meet contractors, and then the next day, 2 3 hours. Like next week in we're going to San Antonio on the 7th, and Austin on the 8th, Texas.
Mm.
So I'm gonna be leaving on Tuesday and flying back on Thursday, Friday, maybe Thursday night or Friday. I'm not sure, but yeah, there's definitely over.
Starts to all blur together, right?
Yeah, but the week after we're going to Oberg Roofing. So there's a lot of these. But again, if it's 1 2 nights, I think 1 2 days out of town, it's the week. It's not too bad. It's when you start going over that in consecutive weeks. If 2 weeks in a row, okay. If you go 3 4 weeks in a row, it adds up for us too. Like if you travel, I don't know if you speaking to me. I don't like speaking. I don't like to be in front. Like I have no desire to do that. I get people asking me, and it's kind of weird, Brian. I don't know, it's been weird this year. A lot of things that I've never been exposed to, but people say, "Hey, can I help you for your events? I would love to speak in front of people." Like, why would you want to do that? Like, people are terrorized that like they hate speaking. They said it's fear more than death because there's no after. Whenever you're dead, you're dead. Whenever you finish speaking, you got to live with yourself after. So that doesn't end, right? But I don't like to do I don't care about public speaking, but I care about making an impact. My biggest fear is I don't waste people's time, money. Yes, if they have to pay to be there at the event, like your event, they pay a lot of money to be there. But my duty, I want to throw up or educate and give so much more that they had to pay for your tickets. But it's really the time. If you're a contractor taking 2 3 days out of your business to be at your event, wow, man, that's a lot. They're not producing money for the company. They're paying and they have to be away from the company. The number one player, their staff, is not there. Oh, that's really hard. But it reinforces, Ryan, that people that show up to your event, they really want long-term decision. They're thinking long-term vision, which is phenomenal. I love people like this because I wish, if I learned something, I wish I knew something before, is to learn that you learn from other people and books you read. So I would have loved to have gone to a lot more events like yours when I started because I can learn from other roofing contractor, even if it's not from the speakers, roofing contractors that are there. Plus your speakers that are world class. Inky Johnson is there, man. I can't believe that. It's gonna be so exciting. And then you
Yeah.
have vendors that you handpick. Like you're handpicking people to be there. You're talking about a couple company just now that they're phenomenal, man. So it's not this is a professional event. There's a lot of events out there, but your event it's special, man.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad that you're going to be speaking as an industry leader and sharing your energy and your networking with people and connecting. What are some things that you had to stop doing that a lot of people probably do, right? You got so much time in the day. So how have I know you're going through a heavy year right now? It's a lot, and you're doing a lot with your family and Monarch and then Riva. What are some things that you are doing to help you succeed and grow and keep your mindset sharp? Like, what does relentlessness look like? What have you sacrificed? Talk a little bit about that on a kind of more practical level for you and what you started to do to help you get here.
Well, this year is again a new frontier. A lot of things we were doing, but I promoted a person to be my personal assistant. I never had that before. I don't even know. I think I'm messing up the whole thing. By the way, I think she's phenomenal, but it's hard because I gotta keep her informed with things I want to do. I'm like, all right, that's right. I gotta go through her and organizing, scheduling. But she's phenomenal. Helps me so much. I always want to do that, but really this year I'm like I get to do it. It's awesome. That was a big help for my scheduling
Good.
and just like podcasts and event like next week organizing the flights and hotels and being in contact with like GAF guys. Like I want to know who they are before I get there. So there's a little bit. It's not unannounced. Like I'm prepared when I'm getting there. I got my list of things to review and schedule. So it's been crazy helpful. But if I go back, going through all the process, especially the first 4 years, I think it happened like in year 5 or 6, is to really commit to what I'm doing and trust uh, that it's going to work out. A lot of times when we're smaller companies, one of 2 3 million, like I'm not sure if it's working, but you have like thoughts and vision of things that could be like. I really feel like that should work, but then everybody else is doing this. So I'm going to do like everybody else because they look like they're doing good, right? So you go this route. If you don't go to conference, the environment in your market, you're not going to be able to create differentiators to be like, all right, that's what they're doing in Colorado. I want to do this. If you look at a guy that's next door to you in your market, first of all, if you talk to them, as nice as they are, they're not going to give you their secrets anyways. It might give some tips, but to have the confidence to listen to that little voice that says, you know what, you should maybe hire this person. Maybe it's okay to have a superintendent. For us, it was a game changer. One superintendent per job site. So when we do a tear off, we can have one person there to do quality control for the jobs, so we get flawless installation, but have somebody that can help the homeowner satisfaction and turn them into three customers, and then get some door knocking. We work together. It's really like a customer service. It's not a roofer, the superintendent. It's really somebody that's really good with people, like a waiter, previous jobs, or we take a lot of people from outside the industry. But to commit to that, because I thought it made sense. But then again, nobody else is doing this. It's just throwing out a subcontractor to the job and trying to make as much money as possible. I'm like, let's put the customer first, customer experience as a base. Whatever we do, it's got to be a wow effect through the whole experience, and see what happens. See if we can build a business around that experience. And that helped me. But to have the conviction, like I'm I'm confident. I know I can do it, but the conviction to not be compliant with everybody else. That
Mm,
was probably, and reading books like Relentless. After I read the book Relentless years later, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm even more in tune for that little inner voice that allows you. You talk about dark side, but allows your your dark side really to come out. But like really, what you feel it should be, where nobody else is doing. To have the conviction to, okay, that's what we're doing, and let's try it. If it fails, it fails. But let's go all the way. Don't quit. Go all the way through that idea.
hmm Yeah, yeah. So I love that. You sounds to me like you've done a great job just trying to be different than everybody else, and like so you keeping that differentiation. You're not going to find that in your own market. You're going to find what they're doing, and then you got to find out maybe how to be different. So you have your own inner voice through your relentlessness that could birth that, or you could be inspired by somebody outside the industry or outside your market to bring that. But that consistent, constant attention to how to differentiate yourself is really a key value for you. It sounds like.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the first thing to do is to you got to show up. Show up to you have a problem or like event in the morning. I always show up first. I want to lead my company, and there's reason why we got I get it. Yes, there's definitely some adaptation there, but massive action I think is number two. Like you go hard as you can. Otherwise, you're not gonna know, what really works, what doesn't, if you don't go all in. See that too many times. Or people number three that they quit through. Like they have a great idea, they start doing it, but energy, resource, excuses starts to creep in, and then they quit. And asking questions. That's why I call Greg Wallach. He gave me 30 minutes. My book was full of questions for him, because I want to know what is after 17 million. What I do then? How do I grow past that? But he gave me a bunch of answers, and it really became the hockey stick effect. We went to 25 and 43 million in 3 years. So it helped so much. So I think it, and I'm not think I don't think I'm like I got a college degree. That's it. I don't have a doctorate, or even if you have a doctorate, doesn't make you smart. But I'm not smart. I'm a hard worker, and I just learn. I'll disturb. Like I'll try everything. It might not be the best way because you make a lot of mistakes, but you can be smarter than me, and that's why I like millennials. I think around millennials are the best, man. They ask questions, they show up to your event. I will go to event. It's always younger guys. We don't see the old guys anymore because my generation borderline, but like they wouldn't go to conference. This new generation, they want to learn, they ask questions. I think they're gonna go faster, bigger than we are, and a lot easier. And that's what makes, like, I don't say I'm old, but I'm on the border, right? So the all the guys, like, man, they're lazy, but I think they're gonna pass us, not because they work harder, because they're outreaching to resources.
Yeah, they're more resourceful. They're more open minded. They're less like protective and afraid. I feel like the older generation's very afraid. They're like, I don't want anybody to know what I'm doing, and I don't really.
Mavericks. Well,
Yeah,
Mavericks, man. We
yeah,
don't share anything. Like, come on, get out of the way, man. Let's make this industry better. Like, again, private equity is coming in right now. Man, all the technologies that's out there right now, like the structure that they can implement, can get estimates in seconds now. Like if we don't get together right now, like Monarch Roofing contractors, we're gonna get crushed. It's happening. It's happening. You have there's gonna be $1 billion company this year, $1 billion company. Do you think they have the technology to create a structure that's like the industry of banking or car dealerships, or like where it's the same over and over? They're gonna be the first ones. It's gonna be years before other companies can get there. And what's gonna happen to little guys? They're all gonna disappear. They're gonna live by a thread. You're gonna have a job. If you own a business, you're gonna have a job. And that's where some of my fuel is, man. I want to connect with you and people that are greater, better, to share ideas so we can make the industry better. Because it's not gonna be. It's a little bit. I don't know if you've seen the movie Gangs of New York.
No, that's been years ago, but I have to take a look at that again. Yeah.
I'm having breakfast with Chris. Okay, Coach K. This guy's like the intellectual guy. Like he's so smart. He's so detail oriented. He's telling the story, and it's funny because it took a while. But the moral of the story is like there's two gangs in New York. They're fighting each other. They're fighting. Okay, and it's a great movie. I think it's like top 5, whatever. It's awesome. But he was explaining to me how it was. So the two gangs are fighting each other. There's bar fight. There's backstabbing. It's brutal. Like they're shooting each other. It's really violent. And then one day there's things that you hear outside because they were inside. They hear like boof, boof, and I asked Chris, like, Chris, what the hell is boof, boof? I don't speak that language. I don't know. Like, and again, he's so detailed about it, how he's doing it. But he's like, oh, I forgot to tell you, that's in 1600. That bombs, the cannons guys were coming with the boats and dropping bombs on the city in New York. I said, who was it? He said it was the English guys. They came in with the big army, all organized, the best weapons in the world. They came through and they crushed everything. So the morale is the little gangs that were fighting each other sounds like roofing contractors in your town.
So good.
Couple $1 million business. Like, let's fight each other. Let's fight each other. And then the big guy comes in. They don't care about you, man. They don't care about your business. We care about you want others to fail a little bit, but they're coming in. They're just gonna take your soul and just done. You guys all wiped out. It took seconds like this. One day you wake up. Oh my gosh. I go online to get SEOs. There's 6. I'm like number 17 page right now because they're dominating internet. They're dominating the flow. People want to deal with them because they get a warranty. It's easy to use. They're becoming the Amazon or Uber, whatever, of the industry. I think that's where we're going to. And if we don't do something all together, roofing contractor, it's just a matter of time. This is happening because it's the technology is here now. It's not 5 years ago. In 3, people said 10 years, but I don't think it's going. I don't think we're that far.
That's amazing. The insights, and honestly, it's frightening. It's frightening because we had our head in our own little world so much, and what we need to be doing is creating a rallying cry for all these small companies to get the resources, use people like me, use people like you, get the technology, become resilient, and either one or two things are happening. They're going to survive and compete with those PE-backed larger nationwide organizations, or they're going to get bought by them and join the dark side of the evil empire, or they're going to be the rebels who say, not today, and we're going to just fight for our own and create something different. And
Yeah, and there's still differentiators that we can, like you're saying, we can still fight back and everything. Definitely 100%, but it's just like a mindset. I think we gotta start moving forward a little bit and be so self centered in general.
just self-protective, reserving and afraid, right? Um, yeah, it's really good. It's really cool to share that. So love that. Love this content, man. It's great to hear from you from a personal side, your journey, what you're doing, how you're managing it, and what you've done over at Monarch is incredible. Love that you're speaking at my conference. Excited for you to come out in Dallas, Texas, October 5th through 8th. You're going to be talking about, whatever it is you're talking about, the roofing machine, your story. You're going to be there to network, hopefully for a little bit, to meet some people. It's going to be a nice event. We're going to have our other contracting leaders there that are very similar to Martin, just growth minded, ultra high integrity, differentiating, young, tech focused. Like that's what we're doing. That's what we're cultivating. And yeah, man, I'm just really honored and excited for you to be a part of what we're doing and supporting us at STG. So yeah, appreciate you and what you're doing and your team, and really impressed with everything you got going on. It's inspiring for sure. So yeah, any last words for our listeners as we kind of wrap up this episode?
Well, just an honor to be part of this, Ryan. You know, an opportunity to grow with you and help whatever I can do. You have something very special going. You know, just be part of it is special to me. And roofing contractors, you know, I think to the next again, it's been, I feel like it's been a little bit easy in the last few years. You know, we had a lot of I think influx with a lot of money from the government entering the market, and so a lot of people in the remodeling have been doing very well. Now we're looking at maybe like a recession coming, so it's going to be from high to low in a few years. It's going to, I think, maybe a little crazy, but it doesn't matter because if you keep focused and focus on things that work, where people are panicking right now, like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? You know, let them panic. Just keep your head down and keep working and finding ways to be better yourself. Work on yourself. Jim Rohn's got a great quote. It says you should work harder on yourself than you do on your job. But having that mindset for your employees as well, helping them grow so your company can grow. Because you can't really do it by yourself, especially if times gets hard. Um, it's going to be, you need the entire team to be on board with whatever ideas you have, whatever system process, but everybody's going to be passionate about what you're doing. So keep loving your team and growing each person within it.
Yeah, that's good. Well, there's a lot more to unpack with you, I'm sure. Just culture, team, who you hire, how, what do you do, what are the fun little things you guys do in your sales meetings, in your company meetings, and how often do you meet, and all that fun. And there's a lot of things we can learn, but and then pick your brain on. But man, it's just great to have you on. And yeah, guys, check out Martin Pettigrew. He's on social media. I think he posts just about every day, or at least every other day. So you guys can check him out, and all of his company channels are very easy to find. And I think he's a GAF EVS speaker, so you can easily check him and find him at one of those GAF if you're a mastery lead or in their network. Check out Martin in real life, in the flesh. It's kind of weird whenever someone talks about you like that, right? It's like, oh, you can meet me in person. It's like, dude,
I'm not that great, man.
yeah,
I'm just a regular man, regular.
yeah, it's kind of weird, but yeah, but this is kind of where we're at today. Accessible knowledge and systems and processes in our industry, and Martin's doing a great job sharing with that. So, yeah, thanks again, Martin, and excited for you to join us in October, and appreciate your time today.